So you or your loved one has made the decision to transition to hospice care. I know, sounds scary, but that's probably the hardest part of this entire journey that you're going to be on, this chapter in the book of life. My name's Jennifer, and I've been a registered nurse for 23 years. A decade of that time was spent providing hospice care to patients and their family members in their homes. And I'm here to relieve any fears or anxieties about the first hospice visit. When I received a hospice referral, it could have been during the daytime on a weekday. It could have been at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night. I contacted that family and arranged a time to meet them at their house. When I got there, there was a lot of paperwork to go over. There are a lot of consent forms to sign, admission paperwork to go through, agency policies and procedures, and just a lot of signing, a lot of papers to sign at first. Having the patient there obviously is important because we do need to have their signature, but if they are in a condition that they're not able to sign, their next of kin or legal healthcare power of attorney can be there to sign consent forms. My visit was pretty casual, pretty non-threatening. My goal was to meet the patient, get to know them, get to know their caregivers, find out, who was going to be there with them to provide care. I assessed the patient physically. Were they currently in pain? And if so, we worked immediately to get their pain under control. Pain management is definitely a priority. And we went over equipment that was usually already sent out to the home. Any oxygen, any bedside commodes, any durable medical equipment that was needed would have been sent out, if not before I arrived, shortly after I arrived. Also with hospice admissions, we would order what is called an emergency medication kit, or an e-kit as the nurses would call it. And what that is just a packet of emergency medications for various symptoms that patients may experience throughout the process of receiving hospice care. Depending on the patient's current condition and whether they were in a lot of pain, whether it was late at night and they were really tired, or whether a caregiver was there or wasn't there at the time, that would be the determining factor as to whether or not I went through each and every one of those emergency medications. The first visit in itself can be overwhelming. Patients are anxious, that's normal. Caregivers, family members are upset, they're angry, they're very hesitant, they're nervous, they're skeptical, all of those things. And so as a hospice nurse, it was part of my job to kind of assess the patient and their environment and their situation as a whole. So, although yes, we did have to get through the paperwork at that first visit, I didn't necessarily always go through each and every aspect of what could happen, what might happen, what I think will happen at that first visit. My goal was always not to overwhelm everyone. My goal was to just settle fears, take away even just an ounce of anxiety. I know how difficult the decision to transition to hospice care was for you or for your loved one. And the last thing I wanted to do when I met a patient was to add to those fears. So I usually entered pretty calmly, about as calm as you see me here, and just had a very basic, casual conversation, but asking specific questions. And I would say, and as a whole, that's about it. We discussed how to get in touch with the agency after hours and in the event of an emergency. I always instructed our family members and patients to contact our office number directly in the event of an emergency, although patients would eventually end up having my work cell phone number. I always directed them to contact the agency first and foremost, because whether it was during a work week, during work hours, business hours, or whether it was 2 a.m. on the weekend, calling the office directly would always get them an answer or get them to me the fastest. So I did emphasize that on the first visit. I answered any questions. I gave a lot of hugs if that was acceptable and if I felt like that was appropriate at the time. And, just lots of reassurance. It's a scary time. Again, I know I've said that multiple times already, but it doesn't have to be a scary time. And it's going to feel overwhelming initially, and it is, because it's all going to be new. This is going to be a road that you haven't traveled down, but it's a road that I've traveled down hundreds of times, and your hospice nurse will have traveled down this road many, many times. So your hospice case manager is going to be a tremendous support for you. So really take advantage of her or him when they visit. They're going to be a wealth of information, a wealth of support. Many times when I cared for patients, I felt like I did more for family members than I actually did for patients. A lot of listening, sometimes tears, although that did improve with time as the years went on with me working as a hospice nurse. But expect the visit to be a little lengthy at first and involve a lot of paperwork. You'll receive some equipment, you'll receive some medications, and you'll receive the direct contact information to get in touch with the agency that you have chosen. And I think that's a good summary of the hospice first visit. So again, I'm new to YouTube, I'm new to social media and putting out content. My goal is to try to cover as many topics as I can. So, I would love to have you subscribe to the channel if you or someone you know or love or are caring for is currently under hospice care. Then this channel is definitely for you. And even if we're only meeting one another for a short period of time, that's okay. But I would love to be a resource for you and a calming voice for you while you get through this time. And you will get through this time, I promise. Again, thanks for being here and thanks for listening. If you have any questions for me or any comments, feel free to leave them for me. I'll definitely get to them. And I will be back again soon with another video. Enjoy this time. Live every minute, every second, every hour of the day. This time that you have with your loved ones is so precious. Your loved ones are going to look back on this time and they are going to be so grateful, and it's going to be more positive memories in the end than negative ones. And this is caring for a hospice patient, caring for a loved one at the end of life is a privilege. And most caregivers do feel that way. So again, I'll continue to ramble on, as you will soon find out. But thanks for being here and thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next video. Have a good day. Take care.